Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are going to take a look at Lecture 5, Database Development Lifecycle, Part 2. The lesson objective is to describe the conceptual database design. Conceptual database design is the process of constructing a model of the data used in an enterprise independent of all physical considerations. The objective is to build a conceptual data model of the data requirements of the enterprise. The model of conceptual database design comprises of entity types, relationship types, attributes and attribute domains, primary and alternate keys, and also integrity constraints. The first step in conceptual database design is identify entity types. We will identify all the required entity types and document that entity types. The second step is to identify relationship types. The important relationship that exists between the entity types are identified by using the ERD. We also need to determine the multiplicity constraints of relationship type, check for Venn and chasm traps, and document the relationship type. The next step is to associate attributes with the appropriate entity or relationship types and document the details of each attribute. You can classify your attribute as simple or composite attributes, single or multivalued attribute, use a derived attributes, identify potential problems, and document the attributes. Step number 4 is to determine domains for the attributes in the data model and document the details of each domain. For example, salary has to be number, last name has to be characters, and so forth. Step number 5 is to identify the candidate keys for each entity, and if there is more than one candidate key, choose one to be the primary key and the other as alternate keys. Then you need to document primary and alternate keys. Step number 6 is to consider the use of enhanced modeling concepts such as specialization or generalization, aggregation, and composition. Step number 7 is to check model for redundancy. We would like to check for the presence of any redundancy in the model and to remove any that does exist. We will re-examine one-to-one relationship, remove redundant relationships, and consider time dimension. If we take a look at the example here, the relationship rent should be removed because we already have the bridge entity of lease in that particular model. The next step is to validate conceptual model against user transactions. It will ensure that the conceptual model supports the required transaction. We will describe the transaction by using the transaction pathways. The last step in conceptual database design is to review conceptual data model with user. This to ensure that the model is a true representation of the data requirements of the enterprise. That's all for now. See you again in the next part. Thank you.